Hi, this is Dick Morris. I want to tell you the story about the Grand Rapids School District in Michigan. It's a story typical of school districts throughout the country. They were in tough financial shape, so tough that at the end of the 07-08 fiscal year, they had reserves left for exactly 1 day. That's how tight it was. So the first thing they did was to try to prune some non-instructional costs so that they could still meet the standards of the No Child Left Behind Act. They were going to contract out custodial services and pupil transportation services. And as happens with many school districts, they ran right smack dab into the opposition of the teachers union, which didn't want any of these cost savings to take place. So a war ensued, and here's what happened. Back in October 2007, Teachers Union President Paul Helder told his members, "We're at war, and the battle is upon us." Those weren't very friendly words, and the public war of words began. The union picketed in front of the board meetings and on major roadways to attract media attention, and it worked. And it looked like this was going to follow all the old pattern. The union comes on strong, and the school board buckles, and the kids are the losers.
Remember that the large urban board is often susceptible to what appears in the newspapers or the other news media. A small rural or suburban board may be more susceptible to what is said over the fence. Remember that large districts rely heavily upon the superintendent to absorb the flack. They use that superintendent as a shield. If he is discredited, the rest of the board suddenly feels naked.
The next step was for the union to denigrate the district superintendent. The union held a no-confidence vote on the superintendent, in which less than 10% of their members voted. They used it to grab the headlines and score public relations points.
We have taken a vote of no confidence in the leadership of Dr. Bernard Taylor Jr. and asked the Board of Education to consider how much longer they will continue to support him as superintendent.
On the doorstep of a school board election, the union was exaggerating safety concerns and questioning the integrity of the current board, and what they really wanted was to get 3 union-endorsed candidates on the school board so these cost savings and efficiencies would be dead on arrival.
My children go to these schools, and to have them painting our students with this broad paintbrush and saying that they're violent hoodlums who don't deserve anything really yanks my chain, because that's my child they're talking about.
The Education Action Group put up a billboard on one of the major routes in the area and reframed the whole question. They said, "Who do you want controlling the schools, the taxpayers or the union bosses?" The reaction was instantaneous.
Controversy tonight from the school board room to the expressway. It's all over a question. Who do you want in charge of our schools? As 24-hour News 8's Tony Tagliavia is live to report, the attack comes as Grand Rapids Public Schools is in a high-profile dispute with the teachers union. Tony?
Evening, that billboard is here along US 131, the busiest stretch of roadway in Metro Grand Rapids. And tonight, an anti-teachers union group is using that billboard to send a message just days before a school board election.
Their billboard made page 1 in the Grand Rapids Press and the Grand Rapids Times.
We launched the MEAExposed.com project in the community of Gladstone, 2.5% the size of Grand Rapids. We asked for a meeting with the local newspaper, and we were met with, let's say, indifference. We had no idea there would be that much interest in Grand Rapids in what we were doing. It was as if the community was just wanting some sort of response to the union's rhetoric.
Instead of debating the legitimate questions, union leaders and their advocates belittled the AG, was unworthy of participating in the public discussion.
Where did that group come from?
Muskegon.
Really?
Well, that or the 7th layer of, but anyway.
Where's your jurisdiction coming from? Coming from Muskegon. This is Grand Rapids Public Education. It shouldn't even, you shouldn't be able to go in someone else's district.
By now, the school board was getting pretty fed up with the union tactics, and it unanimously voted to stop withholding dues, union dues, from teachers' paychecks, some $57,000 every 2 weeks. They also decided to make public the issues dividing the two sides. One of the major issues turned out to be health insurance. This poor Grand Rapids school district that's trying to educate its kids and has a fund balance for only 1 day of school operations has to pay $14,000 a year for every employee they have for health insurance alone. way above what other health insurance systems charge. But the union is fighting tooth and nail to keep control of it. You know why? Because they own the health insurance company. They set up a company called Mesa, which controls the health insurance. And that's why the union's battling for these exorbitant premiums. And now, the teachers' union is doing what it always does. They're threatening to strike. Not for the health of kids, not for educational standards, but so they can continue to rake in taxpayers' dollars on bloated health insurance premiums.
Would you be in favor of being able to strike if you
Well,
could?
I'll tell you, just like every other major fight for rights, such as like the civil rights movement or anything else, a lot of that was illegal too.
Now, of course, teacher strikes are illegal, but that doesn't bother the union. In fact, they've amassed a $10 million war chest to pay fines that they anticipate the court will set against them for proceeding illegally.
We called the union president out for suggesting that they're the ones that are in some sort of civil rights struggle because the district needs to save resources and use tax dollars more efficiently. If anyone's in a civil rights fight, it's the parents and their kids. The district is trying to improve the quality of education that they provide to Grand Rapids kids, and it seems that the union president and the other leaders fight them virtually every step of the way.
So the battle's been joined in Grand Rapids, and all over Michigan and all over the United States, attention is focusing on this brave Citizens Action Group, the Education Action Group that is finally standing up to the powerful teachers' union to demand an outrageous concept, that taxpayers' money be spent in the classroom educating kids, not paying bureaucrats and union salaries as the union wants. Where will it end? We don't know. Will there be a strike? What will the voters say? Will some of the parents exercise their options and opt out of the public school to choice and go to some of the charter schools? We don't know, but we do know something. In Grand Rapids, the good guys are standing up for their kids. This is Dick Morris for the Education Action Group, a struggling group fighting for our children.